Good nutrition is one of the most important factors in maintaining healthy fish. Over the years, Cook has developed proprietary feed formulas that ensure the fish are on a diet that optimizes growth. We monitor water quality, including temperature, oxygen, and other factors to optimize fish growth and reduce stress. By feeding when the environmental conditions are right, the fish are able to consume the correct amount of feed, reducing waste that falls to the bottom. We have made huge improvements in this area over the past 20 years, and we have teams that are solely focused on tracking this information and learning from what we have seen in the past, and applying that learning into new processes and technology.
The monitoring and sampling that we do is extremely important for sustainability efforts. Capturing and analyzing this data allows us to make science-based decisions so we can balance growth with sustainability.
All of our ingredients are approved by national food inspection agencies.
There's a schedule that lists what ingredients are approved, and it can even go as specific as what the inclusion level can be in diets for animals, whether it's Atlantic salmon, poultry, beef, pork. It's all based in the same federal agency.
We are audited each year to ensure we are compliant with national and international regulations on the ingredients we use, as well as our manufacturing processes. Our own feed company, Northeast Nutrition Incorporated, is also BAP Best Aquaculture Practices certified. BAP is the only seafood-specific third-party certification program that ensures every step in the aquaculture production chain is done responsibly from egg to plate. In nature, salmon are one of a few animals that get the color in their flesh from eating carotenoids that come from algae further down the food chain. These carotenoids are what give the salmon their bright orange flesh. We include carotenoids in their diet to get that same coloring in farmed salmon. This is a way of adding color to the fish that mimics what happens in the wild. We do not dye our salmon flesh. Feed conversion is a way of measuring how much feed it takes to produce the final meat for market. This is an important measurement when considering sustainability of a particular animal. Aquaculture has some of the best feed conversion ratios when compared to other farmed animals. Salmon need fewer calories than mammals to live and grow in the ocean. They have a swim bladder that allows them to maintain neutral buoyancy as they move through the water. Because of this, they don't feel the effects of gravity and do not have to expend the same amount of energy to stand up or walk that mammals do. As cold-blooded animals, they also do not need to expend energy maintaining a regular body temperature. This makes salmon one of the most efficient animals to raise for food.
With Atlantic salmon, a 1.2 is what I feel would be a very strong conversion ratio. That means that if I were to give an animal 1.2 kilograms of feed, I would expect a 1 kilogram growth on that animal from that consumption. We strive for that in our production, and we are able to achieve that at some sites. Some could be a little greater if they're in longer than what we plan. When you consume at that efficient level, what it's saying is that most of that is going into building the body. There would be a very small amount that would be coming out as fecal matter. To compare that with poultry, it would be approximately a 1.6 versus the salmon at 1.2. When it comes to pork, it would be 3, roughly, and for beef, it could be as high as 8 to 9 units of food in to get the 1 unit of growth from that.
Feed is the highest cost of production in salmon aquaculture. Not only do we need to care for the environment, but we must also carefully control how much feed is used to manage our costs.
When we first started out in this industry, we would throw feed in by hand. It wasn't very efficient. And we progressed to where we are today. We're standing beside a large feed system. Every cage has a camera in it, so that it's monitored. We feed the fish the right amount of feed, when they want the feed, and how they want the feed. That's just one small example of how technology has developed. If we look back 5 years ago to where we are now, it's truly unbelievable.
I work for the saltwater team that tracks the number of fish we have on each site, where they are in their growth cycle, and how much they're eating each day. We look at the water temperature and how much they weigh and create feed prognoses to determine how much feed each site should be consuming. And if we ever see anything that's off, we work to correct it right away.
At the end of the day, we're watching to make certain that across all of our sites, we're giving equal opportunity, appropriate amounts of feed. We're not overfeeding, because if we overfeed, first and foremost, it will impact our environmental conditions where we farm. And we don't want that, because then it jeopardizes our animals and it can jeopardize our future.
Another huge step forward in our continued efforts to improve the sustainability of our farm practices was the introduction of underwater cameras. We now have cameras both underwater and above water at all of our sites, which helps us to see more of the enclosure area. By watching the behavior of the school of fish, we can anticipate when they will be full, so we can slow down or stop the feed rates before any overfeeding occurs, so no feed is wasted. We also have staffed remote feed stations to oversee our operations at sites with central feeding systems.
I have a background in biology. I've always lived near the water and the oceans, and marine life is really important to me. And it's important to me to work for a company that values sustainability and taking care of our oceans and our environment and protecting them for future generations.